Okay, well, let's just talk about maybe, because I remember your first call that we had together, and I'm sure you do too. Like, where were you at before you joined Corporate Women Unleashed? In other words, how are you feeling maybe emotionally? What was, I know you had some concerns about like feeling like burnt out or any of those types of things. Maybe just like help us set the frame for like, what made you even say, I need to do something different?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like most people, I feel like I came to this kind of randomly. I saw an ad on Facebook and thought, oh, well, this is something interesting. So I listened to the first kind of introductory seminar about what this program is about. And, even though I'm a corporate woman, I'm not a C-level. So I was thinking, okay, so is this applicable to me? And I don't hate my job. But I didn't love where I was. And there was a part of me that was always really searching. So from that perspective, I thought, okay, this could be something that maybe would apply to me. And then I didn't realize that, what obviously the scope of everything you do. And, after our first conversation, I was at a place where I was just like 100 shades of gray. My life was not full of color, but I had everything I wanted on paper, that I ever could have possibly wanted. And I just wasn't enjoying my life. And that's not really my default personality. And it's like, I was an observer to my own life that I had worked for and chosen, but I wasn't enjoying any of it. And I wasn't at a place that I wanted to, upset the apple cart and quit my job or do this, because I knew that wasn't the answer, but I didn't know what the answer was. And so that's why I think this program fit so wonderfully into where I was, because I was just like a zombie. And, I'm expecting another child and, having the experience of working with my first, that kind of shadowed over me. And I just wanted to do things differently. For myself and for my family. And I'm also just turned 40. So I think that's like another pivotal point in a woman's life. And you get sick of like dealing with your own crap, if you will. And you just want to choose a better life for yourself. And so that's why this program has been so wonderful, because it gives you the tools to do that and start recreating the life that you want, which has been wonderful.
I love it. I love it. And I love the 50 shades of gray or whatever you were saying just then, because I remember at a point in my career, actually going to a therapist and saying like, I feel like I've built this great life. It's like this beautiful garden. There's like flowers and trees. Like I've arrived at this place, but I can't see it. I can't smell it. I can't touch it. It's like, something's not right. Why am I not just overjoyed and happy? Right. And that's that sort of like that gray. It's like, what's missing?
Dull. It was just dull. It was just dulled out, numbed out, and I just did not think I had the energy. I know I didn't have the energy at that point to do this for another 40 years. And that's a long time to feel that way. And I just wanted to do something about it to change it.
Got it. So, but did you feel like you were burning out? Was it unhappiness? Was it anxiety? Like is there any words you would use to describe that feeling?
Definitely anxiety. I mean, that's something that I've worked a lot on through this program. Burnt out in a way, just not having the energy to sustain what I'd already done. Like when I would think about everything I've accomplished, instead of thinking, oh, that was great, that was wonderful, what's next type of thing. It's like, I can't even think of what I even want to do next, because I can't. The energy that it took to get to here, I don't know if I have that to move forward. So where do I go? Do I just stay in the place that I was emotionally? That wasn't the answer. So something had to give. There had to have been, some kind of outside force in order to get me to think differently, so I could have a different experience,
Yeah, a different experience in your life. So, because you've got a little guy, right? You've got a toddler, 3-year-old, and then you have another.
Yeah.
Was there anything going on where you felt like, was it I guess, you know, what's always helpful is like, was there anything specific? Like I was just missing out on time with my child. Or it's like, no, I was there, but it just wasn't joyous. Cause I remember on that first phone call, you were saying like,
Yeah.
we're doing stuff, but there's all these things we could be doing. Like, why are we not hiking or why are we not going out? I don't know. Like what was going on there for you?
I felt, well, I think there was like a lack of intention, you know, I think it was just kind of, we were all going through the motions and for no good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to correct that for my family. And we just weren't a unit. I felt like we were all kind of having our own agenda. And I just didn't like the way that felt for us. And that's not something I wanted to move forward. And then you add another child into the mix where things get even more chaotic. It's like, that's really not going to work. So if we're in this like mediocre to bad place now, where are we going to be in 2 years? And quite frankly, I didn't see my relationship surviving through that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to change that.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, Jenn. I love that. I love that.
Sorry. We're such a better place now, you know? So it's great. It's really great. So anyway.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you because you have a beautiful family, Jenn, you know?
We do. We're very fortunate. And that's the other thing. It's like I have all these wonderful things in my life. And, you know, I wanted to get back to a place where I felt like myself, because I don't know where or when I lost it, but it was gone. It was gone for a while. Yeah. And I just didn't want to have that experience, you know, bringing another child into this family, because I didn't want that to affect my son. I didn't want that to affect the new baby. I didn't want that to further, you know, destruct and degrade my relationship with my husband. It was time for a change.
It was time for change. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about that change. So let
me get myself together for a minute.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's wonderful. That's good because it's meaningful, right?
That's awesome. It's a lot of estrogen also. Anyway.
You're pregnant. You're allowed to cry.
I know. Yeah. So anyway, all right, moving right along.
Okay. So let's talk about the process, right? Because you really, you know, I think going from a place where we feel like life's kind of like gray and meh.
Yeah.
To really saying, I'm going to step up and do something about this. I want to applaud you for having the courage and the commitment to do that, right? Because it's a lot easier just to stay where we're at, right? In some ways, you know, even though you know it doesn't feel right. So what, like, so tell us a little about the process. Like, so what was helping you as you kind of step through the program, and where are you at now? So give us some
for me, you know, I maybe have a little, I feel like there's really two ways to kind of work this program. You're either hyper evaluating your career to figure out if that's working for you. And mine is working for me. So I feel like that piece I could kind of put on autopilot. The piece that really helped me was the script work. And I didn't realize that I had all these ineffective strategies for dealing with my scripts. If you would have asked me in a survey before this course, I would have said, no, I'm pretty good with processing and dealing with emotions. Mm-hmm. What I was good at is acknowledging them and pushing them down or ignoring them until they went away, but they never went away. And that is where my anxiety was coming from. And I realize now that I have very specific triggers for that anxiety. And I joked with you saying that I was like an anxiety moon and a perfectionist rising. And those two things really have just guided a lot of behavior that I've been trying to get rid of. And until I acknowledged it and knew where it was coming from, it literally almost goes away instantly because you're able to identify it. And I don't know, without the acknowledgement of those tools, I'm not quite sure how long it would have taken me to work through some of this stuff. Because I've been trying to work through it probably for the most of my adult life. You know, once I had my career at a normal place where I could actually, you know, focus on some of these things. So probably for the last 10 years. And it's been a wonderful blessing. Just, I have the same life, but it feels 1,000% different. And it's really remarkable how just having awareness of why you do things can create such a better quality of life in the life you already have. It's really remarkable.
Isn't that incredible?
That's what I've noticed. That's what I've noticed the most from this program. Like, I'm doing the exact same things. I haven't really changed anything. But it doesn't feel like the weight of the world is on me. It feels like, okay, this is my life and this is what I do. And I'm, I can make other choices if I don't feel like doing something, and that's okay. And just try to better assess where I am, as opposed to always sticking to the specific mold based on my scripts,
Yeah. Yeah. And then for like anyone watching this, like, what we call scripts would be like stories, or like limiting mindset beliefs that we have, that we view the world in a certain way based on things that have happened to us. Mm-hmm. And as long as we're holding on to those, we can know about them, but until we release that emotion. And I think that was your big turning point, right? Was like,
absolutely,
when you release that emotion, it is like turning a light switch on. Like, one minute something that has been bothering you 10, 20 years, literally, you don't even know it's been bothering you, just goes away. And you're like, wow, like it's that quick, right?
It's very freeing. And, you had told me to do this exercise because I had some anxiety around my upcoming maternity leave based on my past experience. And we had talked about that, and you had recommended just figuratively bringing everybody into this room and having it out with them. And then, taking a minute and bringing them back, and then having a more sane conversation. That was extremely fulfilling. And then, I've used that tactic in my daily life, where when something's brushing up against me that I am feeling anxiety or anger, whatever about, I just have it out with them. Usually I'm in my car and I tell these figurative people off, and then, move on. But it's a way for me to process this emotion that works for me. And I didn't realize how I carry that around so much. And I think that's part of my perfectionist kind of mantra, where I should, be a lady. I should not speak my mind. I shouldn't have these, I don't want to say these big emotions around maybe such a small thing, but you know what? That's how it made me feel. And I'm dealing with it in a way that works for me and makes my life better, which is a wonderful thing, right. And makes me more calm. And I don't, project that on someone else, an innocent party.
Right. Or feel like a victim to it anymore. You don't have to be,
exactly.
You're not living in fear. Right.
Right. Or bottle it up and, self-medicate in some other way,
Right.
So,
I love it.
Either.
Do you feel anxiety free, or do you feel like, no, I still have anxiety from time to time, but now when it crops up, I know what to do?
Exactly. Second, I don't think I'm ever going to live in a world of anxiety free, and that's okay. But now having a strategy to know how to deal with it, it's not as big as a thing, as it were. It's just like, okay, I can deal with this. And if I deal with it and it's still there, then maybe, I don't know, maybe I just need some more time, or, maybe there's another underlying issue, and you just kind of wait until you get those answers and deal with that.
I love that, because what that does is, a lot of times when we feel anxiety, we don't like the feeling. And so then we start to panic even more because we want it to go away. And what you're doing is you're giving yourself permission to have the feeling and just say, okay, let me figure out what's going on here. And then we can get rid of it. And then you just move on and have a beautiful day or a beautiful evening with your family or whatever. And you're okay. You're okay.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, anything else that you'd like to share? Like, what about like anything people around you? Like, have people around you noticed that you're lighter, brighter, more effervescent? Has your husband been like, wow, you seem like you're...
He hasn't said anything, but we are talking during the day. Like, he'll call me to check in, and I honestly cannot remember the last time that we did that. I mean, I feel like we were on some level just like two ships. Yeah. And now I feel like we're reunited as this team that we were... Sorry, when we first met. It's really great. It's really great to just be back on that same page again. So, and that happened within the last 2 weeks. And I just thought, oh my gosh. At first I thought it was just, oh, well, we have things to discuss during the day, but now it's kind of a thing, and it's kind of nice. Like, we check in the morning, we check in around lunchtime, and it's created a great dynamic for us, which is wonderful. And yeah,
so
sorry, I didn't want to cry, damn it. But this time it's a good cry as opposed to life's a mess cry. So there's that. And we've made time for date nights. We are not the people that can have a weekly date night. It's just not. I just think that's overcommitting and setting ourselves up for failure. But, when we've been able to sneak it in, we've had 3 or 4 date nights over the course of this 8 weeks, which is 3 more than we probably had in the last year. So for us, that's a win. And it's been really nice. I feel like, okay, we have the life that I always had in my mind's eye, but didn't know how to work towards getting,
Yeah. And I love that. And that just will continue more and more. And you're going to, as you already are experiencing, since we talked a couple of weeks ago, you just start getting out of bed every morning and going, this is my life. This is amazing. Right. And you even said, I'm going to spend the next 2 months as a family of 3, because we'll never be a family of 3 again. Yeah. We're going to enjoy it. And then we're going to bring in baby, and we're going to be a family of 4, and life is good. Right.
It's very good. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And especially I've been slowing down my routine in the morning with my son, and not feeling like, we have to get out the door. And it was funny. One of the catalysts for that is I was on a work trip, and so my parents were watching him. They're the grandparents. They obviously don't have a sense of urgency to their schedule as I do. And I'm like, you know what? It doesn't bother them that he gets to school at whatever time. They just drop him off when they drop him off. So it's like, why do I drive myself crazy? No one's holding me to the standard except for myself. So it's, I think, made a difference in his demeanor too, where he doesn't feel rushed. And so that's been happening for the last couple of weeks. And today he was like, I'm ready to go to school today, Mom. And I was like, okay, let's get in the car. And he made that choice. And it was really great. Instead of being like, hurry up, we have to do this. He just knows what he has to do now. And he is kind of driving the ship, which is nice because it's giving him a productive choice that he can make,
Yeah.
Right.
That's got to feel amazing, putting that, allowing him to sort of decide about his morning, because now you're backing off and saying, before it was all about you and what you needed. And now it's like, wait, as long as we get out of the house sometime within the next couple hours or whatever it is, life is good.
Right.
Oh my God. So any advice or, I don't know, last minute words you have for anyone who would be thinking about joining CWU, or in that place where you're at before, anything you'd like to leave us?
Just don't hesitate. I mean, I hesitated a little bit, and then after I joined, I was like, oh God, what did I get myself into? But honestly, the program goes by so fast. You can't even believe 8 weeks sounds like a long time until you're in it. And then you're like, oh God, I wish I had more time, to kind of explore some of this stuff. Just do it. I mean, you've made the point that it's an investment in yourself, and, everybody that's drawn to this program is a successful person. And I doubt any of them have made investments in themselves. And it'll really change your life. You'll have the same life, but it will be exponentially better, which is probably the best thing, because you're not invoking these dramatic changes. You're just getting tools to help you make better choices and get off. For me, it was me getting off my own case, and just allowing things to be, and just not feeling like everything is not urgent. And I was assigning urgent priority to everything. Everything is not urgent. Yeah. So don't hesitate. Just do it.
I love it. Living life.
Cry and be a mess. Because that happens during this program, but it's a beautiful thing. I mean, because it's good to purge that emotion and have really authentic interactions, with people that are like-minded.
That's right. Yeah. If you want to be in a room with a bunch of powerful women and some tissue boxes, you can come to one of our calls.
No, and it's good. And it's nice how everybody's very open in sharing their shit, so to speak, because this stuff isn't easy to talk about it. And, all the women that are drawn to this program, they know their weaknesses, but they would much rather focus on their strengths.
Right.
And, you know, it can be challenging to take this stuff up, but it's a very welcoming group. So you don't have to feel any kind of sort of judgment for sharing these things that you probably have been carrying insecurities around for a long time. It's a very welcoming, warm place.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jenn. I so appreciate you doing this exit interview. I appreciate your willingness to share, and you've been amazing to work with. Really.
Thanks. It's been a great program. I really appreciate it. So I'm blessed that I have found this program, and good luck to all your current, I don't even know, clients, if you will.
And you'll be in our graduate group. So
excellent. Excellent. It's been wonderful. So I look forward to that.